What's up? What's happening? Welcome in. I'm George Balekji. He's Travis Thomas.
Yeah.
This is Foxboro Rush T. How we doing today,
I'm doing great, although I love that Foxboro Rush music, as you know, George.
Yep.
And I always rock out at the beginning of the show,
Yes,
as
do.
you know, George.
Yes, you do.
However, what you also know is I am follically challenged. And it really upsets me because during the intro for Foxboro Rush, every time, I just wish I could go 80s hair band and just... But I can't. There's nothing there, George.
It's like scary to watch you do that. The absence of it, yeah, I'll stop.
I would be a great, listen, bro, in a mosh, I'd be a champion. But the Lord had other plans.
Well, you don't need hair to get in a mosh pit.
Yeah, to really, truly,
Yeah,
like
fair.
the way I want to mosh,
Let
like
it
I want to
down
be in
and
there, like I can't do that. I mean, like, well, what's with this guy?
Here on Foxboro Rush, we talk about more than just football and the Patriots. We talk about mosh pits as well. I DJ'd at a heavy metal radio station.
Come on.
Throughout college, yeah.
Wow.
89.5 FM, WSOU in South Orange, New Jersey.
So you were playing Metallica,
No, so
Korn.
before you can call games on the radio,
Yeah.
you would have to do overnight shifts. And they would literally go, hey, put scale like 1 to 5, 5 being the least desirable, what shift you want? And I'd be like, 3 to 6 a.m. I was a commuter. I literally commuted to school.
Okay.
And the moron that made this schedule, this guy, I think his name was Tom. I'll never forget him.
Yeah.
And he goes, like, laughing, like, if you put a 5, I'll probably put you there, but not really. And then he did. And I asked him why. And he said, oh, probably because you didn't want to do it. And I was like, I just ate it. I go, hey, moron. I drive here. Like, I wake up at 2. Anyhow, so what I did is I'd bring a pillow with me.
Yeah.
I would walk in, and for the next 3 hours, I would queue up the longest songs possible.
All
no
long.
commercial breaks.
Yep.
Put the pillow, and I'd fall asleep for 3 hours.
Yep.
I don't care. And they said you're not supposed to do that. Don't put me on 3 to 6.
Listen, bro. I'm a well-rounded individual. George, you know I love R&B and hip-hop. I could get after metal. Like when I would work out back when I was an athlete, I loved metal. It would fire me up. Big Metallica fan, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden. I liked all the old stuff.
Yeah.
I like like OG metal.
Yeah. You'd be calling in requesting songs 5 a.m.
I would.
And I wouldn't pick up the phone. That's my favorite part.
You're so petty.
You talk. Don't schedule
You're
me that.
so petty.
Don't give me that time, or I'll find a way out of it.
So petty.
Just do the right work. All right, we got a packed show for you guys today. Talk about ripping the guitar and talking heavy metal. Jerod Mayo ripped into his defense. Jerod Mayo ripped into the previous regime and all the roster moves they did. We'll get into those. Also, the comments made about his wide receiving group for Drake Maye as well. And we saw KJ Osborne active, but didn't play a single snap. We'll go through what it looks like in the wide receiver room for the New England Patriots right now. And finally, finish off talking about radio, some Jerry Jones tantrums.
Everybody's so angry, George.
Well, Jerry's mad because he's getting exposed. He's getting found.
Mayo's upset. Kraft's upset.
I gave
Jerod.
Dak all that money. I gave CD all that money. We're not winning. Why not? But I still have $23 million in my bank. Let's get into talking Jerod Mayo. I'll save anyone my Robert Kraft impersonation.
All right.
But Jerod Mayo asked in the following days after their 41-21 loss against the Texans, where they allowed multiple 50-plus yard runs. 5 different players had a gain of 20 or more yards, catch or run. 5 different players put that up. He simply said for the defense, they have to improve. You should feel like crap today is what he said to the guys. And he also said, for the defensive performance in Drake Maye, we let him down. I feel like I let him down. The coaches let him down. And he said it straight up. The run fits weren't good. The tackling wasn't good. But this is an issue that goes back to the Jets game. A team that week 1, Travis, we saw them against Cincinnati, 11 hats to the football, rallying to the point of attack, wrapping up, bringing them down, playing fundamental sound football. Is anything but that. That is so far in the past, especially the tackling we've seen. And that goes into the Texans game as well.
Yeah, listen. I'm rooting for Jerod Mayo, as many of us are, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the things about him that kind of drives me nuts, though. And I believe we talked about this on the last episode where he almost gives you too much in the media. And while I don't want him to turn the dial all the way to the Bill Belichick, subscription of I'm not going to say anything ever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be prickly and grumpy while I do it. I don't want that. But I'm also like, these quotes that he does give us, being transparent, a lot of times make him look bad. This is another one. Like, bro, get your side of the ball right. Now, it's not excuses, it's reasons. Sometimes people say, well, you're making excuses. No. There are reasons in this case where the defense is struggling a bit. They have injuries galore on the defensive side. You lose your leader in Peppers out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
You're playing the Texans. I mean, like, that's going to happen. So there are reasons. There are legitimate reasons for why this defense struggled against the Texans. But, man, like, this quote bothers me because it's like, can you just get look at Chicago. You know I'm high on the Bears, right? Because of Caleb and the offense. I don't even like Matt Eberflus, but he's getting his side of the ball right. You know, I've defended Robert Saleh in New York for getting fired prematurely, in my opinion, because he got his side of the ball right. We're seeing defensive coaches in this league. They're not winning Super Bowls, but they're having success.
Yeah.
And you know why? A lot of their offenses struggle, but they get their side of the ball right, and it keeps you in games, and you can win a lot of games in this league still. I no longer believe you can win Super Bowls having some dominant defense and some, weak-ass offense. But you can. The
Chiefs
formula
did it.
Well, I mean, they have a quarterback and a coach who are all-time. But I'm just saying, if they don't have that, they ain't winning Super Bowl with that defense, okay? My point is, big picture, Jerod, like when I hear these kind of quotes about the defense, it makes you look bad, bro. It makes you look bad. Like you're not capable of living up to your side of the ball, your end of the bargain.
Yeah.
We're all patient with the offense, and Drake Maye and the offensive line's a mess, and there's no receivers. We get it. Mm-hmm. We get it. We watch the games. But, bro, like these quotes, it's your defense, Jerod. This is your specialty. That's where I'm at, George. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
No, I don't think so. The Patriots blitzed 53% of C.J. Stroud's dropbacks. He was only under pressure 33%. Those blitzes were not getting home. They weren't resulting in pressures even on that too. So 1 sack, it was 8 pressures off that. And this defense isn't working right now.
Yeah.
It was also that without the blitz, if they're rushing for it, and that's what makes so many defenses do well,
yes,
is if you only have to rush for, like what the Texans do.
Right.
What the 49ers can do, what the Jets are built to do, other defenses in that echelon. Yep. What they're built to do is do that, get home without a lot of guys and allow more guys in coverage.
Right.
I mean, what the Giants have, we see what Brian Burns does along with Dexter Lawrence. Now, given Dexter Lawrence is the best defensive lineman in football, Brian Burns is damn good. See how these teams are built. But it's more importantly, like what happens when they're not winning at the line of scrimmage to start,
right? And
they're not getting into production at the second or third levels of this defense. So he was right to call it out. I said again that they allowed 5 different players, 5 different Texans to have a gain of 20 or more yards. The last 2 games, the Patriots have been outscored in the first quarter 30-7.
Jeez.
That opening drive for the Texans was 0 resistance. Yeah. It was Tank Dell and C.J. Stroud. And then Tank Dell was out of the game pretty much from that point on.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then it was Stephon Diggs.
Right.
It was a matter of they could not get stops. They couldn't put up any resistance. Christian Gonzalez is good, but against a great quarterback and a great receiver like Stephon Diggs and C.J. Stroud, he had a long day out there Sunday. That's the thing that they don't want to admit.
George, no pass rush. What's he supposed to do? I mean, you can be Dion in his prime.
But CJ's getting the ball out quick. It was a ball out quick from CJ.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, like, no pressure, I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you don't have a pass rush, what the hell? Yeah. I mean, like, no one's going to cover in this league with these rules, okay, made to where it's harder than ever to cover anyone. And these receivers with their skill set and their agility and their speed and all that, you're not going to be able. I don't blame Christian Gonzalez. I just don't like these quotes. Like Jerod Mayo, sometimes I just wish there was a happy medium somewhere of like, don't go full Belichick, but don't go full transparent either. Hey, we got to improve on our side of the ball. You know what I mean? Don't get the like, you should feel like crap today. Bruh. Like, what? Hey, we're working on. Give me some coach. You know what's that saying, George? Coach speak. Give me some coach speak.
Say nothing or say something without saying anything or say nothing while saying something.
Give me the cliches. Hey, we're working hard on defense. It's a work in progress. Every week we're going to get better. This week didn't go our way. We're going to be better in London. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Not, everyone should feel like crap on the defensive side. Aren't you a defensive cat? Come on, man.
Well, even with the missed field goal and that interception in the red zone, which you give credit to the Patriots defense, I mean, this could have been 44-21.
Yeah.
This could have been 51-21. It could have gotten ugly like that.
Facts.
But credit also, I mean, you go to the other side for their defense. To me, it is more of the big plays they allowed, the explosive plays, because if you continue to do that, you cannot survive.
I agree.
Given a lot of short fields, there's the Maye strip sack, 2 Drake Maye interceptions, and the Austin Hooper fumble, which is literally the opening play of a drive, and that happens, where it just cannot. But you saw an opportunistic, aggressive defense in the Texans, and you saw a defense that just didn't have an answer all afternoon long. C.J. Stroud wasn't on his A game, but when he was kept clean, I mean, he was getting the ball out pronto, like in under 3 seconds. Drop back, knew where to go, and it was open receivers. Like no one there even to just make their life difficult, and that's what you have to do as a cornerback sometimes. The defense wasn't good. The tackling was bad. Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce averaged over 8.5 yards an attempt between the two of them. And, of course, there's 2 50-plus yard runs. Mixon's back, and he wasn't 100% the way he was running with that ankle. This is all justified to me on the way he's criticizing the defense.
Yeah.
But given, again, no Jabril Peppers, like you point out.
Right.
No Juwan Bentley.
Barmore.
No Christian Barmore.
Yeah.
Those are 3 of their 5 most important players on defense.
Of course it is. I mean, that is your defense. I tell you what, though, I think you laid out that Texans take beautifully, but what worries me about the Jaguars game is that Trevor Lawrence is not good at the dissecting the defense. I've heard you use this term before, the death by 1,000 cuts. Taking what the defense gives you, being accurate, being on time with the ball, picking apart the defense. That's not what he's good at.
Yeah.
What he is good at, and he does excel at, and they do have the weapons for, are the big plays.
Downfield. Brian Thomas Jr. is a problem.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we just watched C.J. Stroud, kind of with that game plan, didn't we?
Yeah.
Big plays, like you said. So Jacksonville can do that. And Doug Peterson is desperate to keep his job. George, he will be all the way in his bag, and we know that's an offensive coach. He may be a lame duck. He may be a dead man walking, but my man knows offense. So he will be deep in his offensive play calling bag in this game. You better believe it. And so I have real concerns about those big plays, George. I think that's a great observation by you.
You can't tackle. You can't plug the gaps how you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And this was an offense that came out and challenged Anthony Jennings, their best run defender on the linebacker level, on the outside with the edge runs. But when you're getting players over pursuing in their gaps and getting misplaced and not knowing where to be, and opens it up when you have these smart running teams. And as much of the Jaguars have struggled, they have 2 talented backs. And it's Travis Etienne's taken a step back, but those are 2 good athletes, and those are 2 good playmakers. And that's what worries me as we went through it. We talked about wins and losses, and I kept coming back to this defense because I don't know. I just don't know. And they've been challenged time and time again. Against Miami when they were good, but, I mean, that offense with Tyler Huntley is awful. Towards the end of the game, when they're gassed, what did the Dolphins do? Just ran the ball 7 straight times after that Christian Ellis penalty extended the drive 7 straight times to punch it in with the fullback and take the lead and eventually win the game. They know how to expose the Patriots defense. It's been exposed. And it's partial. I mean, you can't not address the injuries, but we talk about the discipline and how defensive coaches stand out.
Yeah.
Jerod Mayo, your defensive head coach. DeMarcus Covington was your guy from the D-line up to your DC spot. There is a lot of attrition from the prior coaching staff. Like Steve Belichick is still there. Mike Pellegrino. Really good secondary coaches in those 2. You got to work with what you have. And the one thing you can never knock Bill Belichick on, man, the injuries that he may be dealt, whatever he's working with, that defense is A1.
He always got his side of the ball right.
And we've seen anything but for the Patriots so far. That's what worries me.
Me too. And then you got a coach saying, I mean, we should all just feel like we were crap. Yeah, man. How about you fix it?
It's
kind of your job.
It is. And that's what he has to deal with. I just don't know, like, the fix for this defense with the injuries. It is simple. As we talk about, it's like discipline. They went from 12 penalties or 105 yards of penalties to 50, but they still had 9 of those. And the Marcus Jones, Marte Mapu DPIs were kind of ticky-tack, but, I mean, that's a game.
It is what it is.
You can't put yourself in that position to make that happen, and you can't use the refs as an excuse, which he kind of addressed. You know, he spoke about the officials, penalty heavy. It was cleaned up in the second half. Still, his defense has a lot to fix. He was also asked basically about the status of the roster and why it's in such bad shape.
Here we go.
Mayo's response was, quote, "You tell me, I'm not going there." Which I blame a lot on this current roster on Elliott Wolf, but you can't pass blame, or you can't pass the blame only on Jerod Mayo and Elliott Wolf. They were given a decimated bottom 3 roster in the NFL, both sides of the ball, because of the previous regime.
Coach, speak. Here's another missed opportunity for Jerod Mayo to give us coach speak, to give us, what did you say? Nothing at all. I'll say you're saying something, but nothing at all at the same time.
Yeah.
Bro, what are we talking about? Hey, we're in the middle of a season right now. We got the guys we have in the locker room. George, I ain't no coach, and I'm giving you coach speak. We got the guys we have with us in the locker room. We're working hard every day in practice. We're trying to get better every week. When we get to the off season, we'll address, holes that we have on this roster. But for right now, I'm making sure my guys are fighting. I'm fighting right alongside with them. Boom, next question. You said a lot without saying a damn thing. And you didn't offend anyone. You didn't call anyone out. You didn't pass the blame. See how easy that is? I mean, I'm telling you, bro. It is too transparent. I wish there was someone on the team, and I don't mean literally in that locker room. I mean in the brass, in the brain trust of the franchise that says, hey man, let's dial it back a bit with the honesty.
Yeah.
Could you not be an honesty broker for us and just a head coach? Could you give us a little more, what's that term? Oh, yeah. Coach bleep and speak, please.
Man, and that's where I agree, because the simple answer there is where he goes, you know what? The roster's a roster. Everyone deals with injuries.
Yes.
We've had our fair share, but that makes no excuse. Coaches and I have to do better. You tell me I'm not going there. I mean, it is a worst-kept secret that Bill Belichick, the GM,
we know that,
led to the firing of Bill Belichick, the head coach.
We know that, and you still took the gig, bruh. That's the other part. It's so easy to blame now. We're losing games, and the cupboard's so bare.
Yeah,
bruh, you were the succession plan. You knew that. So what did you think? You could coach this group up. That's what you thought, right? Okay.
It's on the GM to put together the roster.
Yeah.
It's on the head coach to trim it down and improve it.
Right.
Elliott Wolf did not do the best.
He didn't.
To give Jerod Mayo a good roster. And I don't know who controls the spending. I know it does. It's Jonathan, Robert Kraft, and Robin Glazer.
He didn't.
But this is a roster that has to be recognized. 2023 in the draft, they go 3 defensive players, their top 3 picks.
Yeah.
With Marte Mapu, in a way, being a luxury piece in what they have in the secondary and linebacker level, but he could go on to be a great player. I mean, he's done a lot and is very smart.
Sure.
Christian Gonzalez, Keon White, those guys look like they will be studs and get a second contract, which is all you want, basically, out of those top 3 picks. But you look at where they go from there. Jake Andrews in the 4th round. He's been injured. Chad Ryland, a 4th-round kicker. You cut him.
Yep.
Sidney So, 4th-round interior offensive lineman. You benched him.
Yeah.
Antonio Mafi, 5th-round interior offensive lineman. You cut him after a failed center experiment. And this comes on the heels of, you look at what Bill Belichick did to this offensive line where he's overcorrecting them. Let's Ted Karras go walk to sign Cincinnati. 3 years, $18 million.
Wow.
And Ted Karras has been so solid as a guard. Yes, you had Mike Onwenu, who you drafted in 2020. But also, I mean, that was a guy who was getting the job done at right tackle. And then you trade Shaq Mason to the Buccaneers for a 5th-round pick. Turn around, take Cole Strange with the 29th pick.
That's right.
Still have Ted Karras. You don't need Cole Strange. Maybe Mike Onwenu plays either side.
Yeah.
Or maybe you keep Shaq Mason. It's these overcorrections.
Yep.
And as I went through it again, and I bring it up as I've done, when you take Cole Strange, 29th overall in the 2022 draft, they were sitting at 21 and traded back. They could have had Trent McDuffie. Then they don't have, who's a corner, more primarily slot corner, but a good, really good corner.
He is.
For the Chiefs in run and pass. 2023 draft, you take Christian Gonzalez, 17th overall, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, all available for a team.
Although we like Gonzalez.
But for a team that's in dire need of difference makers on the offense.
I just want to put that out there.
And
we love Gonzalez, though.
They whiffed on the Isaiah Wynn draft pick.
They did.
1st-round tackle they took out of Clemson.
Yep.
Who's okay as a guard with the Dolphins. But again, you take 3 interior offensive linemen at 2023 draft.
Yeah.
You take Layden Robinson in this draft, and you ended up benching him as well.
That's right.
And you have Cole Strange going back to 20. You have 5 interior offensive linemen across 3 drafts.
Yeah.
You only like one of them, maybe. I mean, none of them have panned out.
Yeah.
All those whiffs. This roster's still dealing with it. So what he said, he shouldn't have, but I understand why he's saying it. And you get into the Tyquan Thornton draft.
I was going to say, it's not just offensive linemen.
That was a 50th overall pick, Tyquan Thornton.
That's right.
What are you doing there?
Yeah.
But that's when you go from Josh McDaniels to Matt Patricia to Bill O'Brien to now Alex Van Pelt. Mm-hmm. It takes 2 off seasons to reset the roster to the liking of the offensive coordinator. Like Matt Patricia, for whatever reason, saw Tyquan Thornton and said, get me him because he is take the top off of defense, although he's nothing. He can't get open, can't get separation, he can't stay healthy. That was a bust of a pick.
Yep.
Then you come into the next offseason and you got to overcorrect it and you're stuck with Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time to piece this roster together. Elliot Wolf did not do a good job this offseason through free agency or drafting so far. I'm not going to get into this draft class. You need 2-3 seasons to really go through them. But this was a awful roster, and it was because of Bill Belichick. Gave them Christian Gonzalez. Gave them Keon White. Got them Marte Mapu. Kyle Duggar. Christian Barmore. I'm not going to push that aside.
Sure.
Juwan Bentley.
Yep.
But their last first-round pick to get a second contract is Dante Hightower in 2012. That's awful.
That's awful. Yeah, I listen, we can nitpick all this stuff, and I'm fine with that. But the one thing you and I disagree on, and we know this about each other, is I disagree with you vehemently that it's going to take a long time. It doesn't necessarily have to. What has to happen, and where I have zero faith that it will in the current brain trust running things, is you must now hit on moves. You must hit on draft picks. You must hit on free agency. You must hit on trades if you do that.
Yeah.
That's where it doesn't take as long as you think, and we see it all the time in this league, and I use the same example. We just played them. The Houston Texans, who are the laughing stock of the league. They got the coach and the quarterback right. They hit on those things.
Yeah.
They hit on those young receivers they have. They hit rolling the dice to bring in a Stephon Diggs, a Joe Mixon. These are all hits, no misses, baby. I'm not saying it's easy.
Yeah.
But from what we've seen from Drake Maye, the little glimmer of hope, there's that word, hope, right? Hit. You need an offseason where you just hit. They haven't had any hits, George.
But that's the easiest.
They need a hit, baby.
That's the easiest hit in the world. Everyone
Drake
going to
Maye
the draft.
Yeah.
Here are these top
He's a
3
hit.
quarterbacks.
But I'm saying you need more to surround him is what I mean.
Yes.
You got to hit.
Yes.
I don't think it's a ton of off seasons here. You just got you need some home runs. You don't need singles and doubles. You're not that good. You got to go yardie, baby.
When you look at what they've done in the past, though, when it came to their 53-man roster out of this training camp, out of their 17 draft picks prior, 5 were on the team. 2 of those are actually contributors of the 53-man roster. Now, Kayshon Boutte has emerged. 2 guys are on the pup.
He's emerged.
Cole Strange, Christian Barmore. He's something. 40-yard touchdown. He's something. 1 guy's on the bubble, and that's a Tyquan Thornton, who I think is on the wrong side of the bubble.
I agree.
But through 2023, Gonzalez, White, Mapu, all hits. Jake Andrews hasn't been healthy. Chad Ryland, cut him. Sidney So benched. Antonio Mafi cut. Kayshon Boutte, Bryce Baringer, Pop Douglas, they've been fine.
I like Pop.
I'm not even going to count Speed and Isaiah Bolden. The 2022 draft, Bailey Zappi was your 4th-round pick. He's with the Chiefs now. Cole Strange has been on the pup. Tyquan Thornton, he's done.
Yeah.
Out of all these guys, Marcus Jones is the only one that emerged out of that entire draft.
Yeah.
Marcus Jones is the only one out of 9 draft picks in 2022 that's worked for you. In 2021, Christian Barmore and Ramondre Stevenson. Out of 8 draft picks, those are the only guys. So I went through the prior 3 drafts, 1, 2, 3, and 21 and 22, with all those picks. That's 17 picks between those 2. And then 2023, I don't know if Bootie's good, but he's okay for what they have. Barriger's great. Awesome. You hit on a punter. Pop Douglas is okay. And that's it. And then you have the 3 of Gonzalez, White, Mapu on the defensive side. But you see where all these whiffs are happening. And that's what makes it long, though. Because you bring up the Texans. All right, Nico Collins. No one expected this, but he's been great. Tank Dell, right? Obviously, C.J. Stroud, Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Kalen Bullock with a big role right now for them on their safety spot. And you go on and on throughout this offense and defense. Like they have hit at key spots, and the Patriots in key positions haven't hit. Also, we hit on Pop Douglas. He's a wide receiver 4. He's a slot guy.
Yes.
What about that elite outside playmaker?
You don't have it.
Yeah, and they tried that at pick 50 with Tyquan Thornton. They tried it with Jalen Polk, and I'm not going to write him off right now, but he is struggling out there.
I'm writing him off. I'm not writing his future off.
6 games in?
Yeah, this season, what is he? I mean, he's not doing anything.
For them, they needed him to be a wide receiver 1. That
right.
might be Kayshon Boutte now.
Yeah, he ain't that. Listen, the cupboard's bare. I'm not denying that, okay? If I'm the Patriots, what I would do this offseason, I would attack the offensive side of the ball so aggressively. My entire draft would be linemen, receivers. I get some depth at running back. I get some depth at tight. I'd bring in some tight ends. I'm not even saying depth. I'd draft some tight ends, okay? And then free agency, I would do the same thing. I would try to get some big fish, particularly at the wide receiver position. And I personally, if Mayo's back, if I'm Jerod Mayo, I'm leaning on my expertise on the defensive side, and I'm leaning on me getting back a ton of guys healthy to make the defense serviceable. We're not going to be old school Patriots here defensively, but we're going to be solid across the board defensively. We're going to be buttoned up, ready to play. We're not going to make mistakes. We're not going to give up big plays. And then offensively, it's going to take us time, but we have a ton of new personnel for our awesome young quarterback. And then I would cook. And I think we would all be happy with the end result. You're likely not in the playoffs or a contender in the AFC, but you're moving in the right direction, and there feels like there's a plan. But George, I don't have faith in this current staff to get that done. I don't. Elliott Wolf on down. I don't. I think if you run it back with them, first of all, I'm not convinced you run it back with them, okay? You win 2 or 3 games like you and I are talking about, I think everybody's fired. I know I'm on an island with that. People tell me I'm crazy to suggest Jerod Mayo will get fired. This is the NFL, man.
Yeah.
You can't win 2 games, 3 games. You're going to get canned. But if it is a current staff back, I don't really have faith that they're going to do what I just said. I think you have to go all in the offseason on the offensive side of the ball.
It's the fall guy's going to be AVP. Robert Kraft's not going to can Jerod Mayo after 1 season. He can't. Because he picked him before evaluating any coach.
You say that.
He will not.
George, what if the Bengals is the only win they get? What if we're talking Detroit Lion bad when they were bad?
16-game losing
Dan
streak
Orlovsky running out of the end zone. What if they're that bad?
He's still not. Robert Kraft isn't going to do that. Too much ego on the line for him, and the corner that he's backed himself into. Let's get into it. Robert Kraft, he was appearing on the Breakfast Club in New York City. Now, he was appearing on the radio show for his anti-hate campaign he's going on, which is a great endeavor that he's embarking. But asked about Bill Belichick and the coaching changes, he said, our record the last 3 to 4 years wasn't what I wanted, and I had given him so much power. He had full control over everything, and shame on me. I should have had some checks and balances better. Yeah. Now, when the guy had full autonomy on the football team, though, and he had Tom Brady, where it made it a lot easier to get free agency done. That part. Yeah. And before the game passed by, we saw these whiffs on offense, especially that receiver. Yeah, it worked. But by then, it was too far gone. From say I should have checks and balances better. That would have been in the beginning steps, but then you wouldn't have Bill Belichick because he always wanted full autonomy over his football team.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't make much of these comments. You know why?
Why?
It's like Captain Obvious to me. Like, think about this. I'll actually use a player analogy because we see this all the time, not just football, all sports. Think about this.
Yeah.
Many of you have played sports and have seen this on your own team. I know I have. In high school, there's so many teams and athletes and coaches that put up with a lot of BS, drama. Maybe the kid's a troublemaker. Maybe the kid's just a pain in the arse. Whatever it is, and they put up with it because of why? The talent, and you're winning. Mm-hmm. Yes, these comments from Kraft are like, I should have more checks and balances. I shouldn't have gave so much power. Bro, like, yeah, of course.
Just trying to save face.
But you were winning games.
Yeah.
You were winning titles, dog. Like, nobody knocks you. Now, in hindsight, it's like, oh, Bill probably should have got fired 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe you shouldn't have had so much power here, Bill. Yeah. It's easy to say that now. But when you're having a duck boat parade every damn off season, like, they're winning.
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to give them more power. It wasn't. I'm so glad you brought up Tom, because it wasn't until Tom left when it was like, oh, well, in this divorce, it's pretty obvious who won, huh? Mm-hmm. Not us, Tom. And he goes to Tampa, and what happens in 5 seconds, right? So, look, like, it is what it is, bro. You loved, you won, and then you loved, and you lost. It's life, Bob. It's going to be all right. Like, we don't need these comments either. But it's just Captain Obvious stuff. Like, yeah, I shouldn't have given him as much power. Yeah, no kidding. But you were winning. So, of course you did. And I think we all understand it. I'm so over Bill. I'm kind of over Bill. It's just like Kraft's not going to give you coach speak like I want Jerod Mayo to.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to answer honestly, and he owns the team. He can do that. He writes the checks. But I almost wish at some point Robert Kraft himself gets tired of talking about Bill. And maybe even Tom. And he's just like, hey, we're moving on. Like,
he's
going
to keep doing these things.
He's going to. I know he is. Because it's saving face.
I understand what he's doing on the Breakfast Club as he's on his anti-hate campaign. Yeah. Stop anti-Semitism, racism, xenophobia, all that bullying. And when you go on the Breakfast Club, it reaches a younger audience. But he's going to take this time and these opportunities to try and save face. And for everything he'll say of like what he did and I kept them together, it's you hired a coach that no one wanted and that quit from the Jets after a day. And you fell into Tom Brady at the 199th pick. Like, people can say what they want. Oh, they knew. If Bill Belichick knew what he had in Tom Brady, you think he'd wait till 199 to draft him?
That's right.
Think he'd wait that long?
Yeah.
No. That's a 3rd-round pick. Second. He did to Cole Strange. Picked him 29th overall when he could have been a 4th-round pick. You fell into Bill Belichick. You fell into Tom Brady, who's the greatest coach and the greatest quarterback of all time, and that helped your franchise.
Yeah.
For you to come out with this and all these checks and balances and what have you and all that. He's just doing it, again, on the campaign for him to get into the Hall of Fame. And when I say he's saving face of just, look.
It's legacy.
I would have done this.
Yeah.
It was Bill that did this.
He's protecting his legacy. It's CYA, right? I'll say this, though.
CYA, yeah.
CYA, right? You said something that's so true, where it's like he's on the Breakfast Club for this message, which is great, and then it's a younger audience. What a missed opportunity. Hey, Bill's gone. He's the greatest coach of all time. He's a GOAT. Like, we loved our time with Bill and Tom, but we're really excited about the Drake Maye era.
And the Jerod Mayo
We're really
era.
excited about the Jerod Mayo. Let me tell you why I hired him. Let me tell you why we drafted this kid we got who just looked pretty good in a loss. What a missed opportunity. You're talking to a younger audience who doesn't give a rat's ass about Tom and Bill from 20 years ago. Have you seen the lack of crowd at these games? They're getting less and less people at the games, George.
29-38, Bill Belichick's last 4 seasons, no playoff wins. And since Tom Brady left, 29-38, they're 30-43 overall. One playoff appearance, they got run off the field by the Buffalo Bills.
That's right.
That's bad.
It's terrible. Like the sky is falling, which is why you should be trying to drum up new interest. Let me tell you about what we do have right now. I know we're losing, but Drake, man, you got to sell your team a little bit, bro. And he's people that are caught up in the past, George. I don't care if you're an owner of a team or a car mechanic. I always give a side eye a little bit. If every time you talk, it's about the past and glory days.
Yep, agree.
It's a red flag for me.
Yeah.
It's a red flag.
There. He also said the results weren't there, and if you're in the sports business, you either win or you lose. There's no gray. I hate losing.
Duh.
Well, you didn't make the right head coaching hire after you let Bill Belichick go. And again, this is what Robert Kraft wants to do. He wants everything to look good from the outside when people really know it's how it's gone.
That's right.
By him saying, I knew Jerod Mayo 5 years ago, the Amazon Prime interview, was going to be the head coach when we were on a trip in Israel.
Yeah.
To the next head coach of the Patriots, if you said he's going to be a head coach one day, sure.
Sure.
Like, that's when you tap him.
Or we got to keep him in the organization so that he can,
be freaking S.
Yeah.
It's all of this.
Right.
He also hopped on the interview within the first minute and a half. He goes, Robert Kraft, he goes, I go by Thundercat. Our new head coach calls me Thundercat.
Oh, God.
Or RKK. Just make sure not to call me Robert because that's old.
He's stuck in the
RKK,
past.
Thundercat right off the bat, and I just rolled my eyes.
He's stuck in the past, bro.
Just continues to try to be cool. Meek Mill texted me about Lamar.
Meek Mill's not even cool now. Like, he can't keep up. This is my point. He's living in the past.
Just some of the best owners are the ones you don't know they're the owner. And that's how it has to go for him. Let's get into talking some of Drake Maye's 3 best receiving options. Because Jerod Mayo was asked about the receivers, KJ Osborne. And he said, Pop, Booty, and Kendrick Bourne are 3 best receivers. Misspoke and said KJ Osborne, correcting himself to Kendrick Bourne. Pop Douglas, 24 catches, 245 yards, 1 touchdown. Kayshon Boutte, 7 catches on 8 targets. So, catching a ton. 106 yards, 1 touchdown, 40, and a tutter on that 1 catch. Jalen Polk's been a struggle. 10 catches, 23 targets, 78 yards, and 1 touchdown. It's not good. And Kendrick Bourne ran 20 routes against the Texans. He's working his way back from a torn ACL. This receiving room is barren.
I'm sorry. Leading into this, did you say Drake Maye's top 3 best receiving options? Is that what you said?
He's got like 1.5.
Okay. But you did say 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's receivers on this roster.
You want me to tell you why I busted out laughing other than the fact that
he doesn't have 3 receivers?
His receivers suck. This is what came into my mind immediately. Drake Maye's top 3, we'll call them weaponry options, are stop, no, run. Those are his best 3 options, George. He's got nothing. I mean, Pop Douglas, God bless him. My man is all heart because he doesn't have the stature. He doesn't have the explosiveness. He doesn't have the aura to be the number 1 guy. But he's a damn good 2, and I think he'd be a great 3rd option slot. Dude, I agree.
He's a
great one. A high-end, elite, excellent 3 wide. Kind of Chris Godwin-ish.
Whoa.
Right? No? Is that
Godwin's a high end too.
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe I am higher on Pop than I even think. Because I think his ceiling is Godwin. Personally, I like the comp there. But
that's great.
But he ain't a 1. And so to 3 best options, stop, no, and run. That's your best options, Drake. And live to fight future seasons, brother, where you have actual weapons. Because this season ain't it.
Look, Javon Baker, high draft,
please.
Day 2 pick. He hasn't been active yet this season.
He leads the league in that, though.
He's getting bullied by the Eagles' corners on the outside, who aren't that great.
Right.
Tyquan Thornton's been relegated to inactive. KJ Osborne's been relegated to the bench.
Stinks.
This wide receiving room's in dire straits. He was active. He just didn't run. Literally did not play a snap.
What's going on there?
That was a significant free agency signing. But again, they get redundant there. He's a Kendrick Bourne.
Terrible.
And when Kendrick works his way back, it's big, but...
And he's not yet either.
And we'll see how long that Drake Maye can cover up for those deficiencies. Even looking at Hunter Henry, that 8-catch, 109-yard game he had against the Seahawks, where he's held to just 1 catch and I think 11 yards in the second half. His 4 games since, 9 catches, 94 yards. Like, yeah, he had that big game against Seahawks. They made an adjustment, figured out he was hunting zone. They knew how to take him out. They're getting nothing out of the tight end room. Austin Hooper's putting the ball on the floor. And Hunter Henry's been okay. He's been serviceable. And out of the receiver room, it's Pop and it's sometimes Kayshon Boutte. And even the spacing and the route running by Kayshon's not that great. On the interception where Drake Maye sailed it to Pop Douglas, like, go back, watch Kayshon Boutte on that. Beat off the line of scrimmage, never got back to his spot, kind of gave up on the route. And the spacing was terrible where even if Drake Maye led Pop Douglas, either Pop would have gotten knocked out, maybe that would have been picked, or at best, that would have been an incompletion. So there still is a lot of question marks around this wide receiver room. The physicality, the talent just isn't there. One guy, though, that loves to talk, gave a wide receiver $100 million guaranteed, is Jerry Jones.
I've been waiting on this.
Doing his weekly interview appearance, he went on, basically threatened to fire the guys hosting the radio
What'd he
show.
say, George? What'd he say?
Coming on. Oh, I'll go Jerry Jones.
You got the quotes?
He was asked basically why the roster is a roster and where it could have been done better. He goes, this is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons I did something, and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job. I'll get somebody else to ask these questions. I'm not kidding. Basically, they were saying, like, There's $23 million in cap space.
Yeah.
For the deals they signed, you could have afforded Derrick Henry. You need a running back.
Yeah.
Stephon Gilmore. You need a corner who's in Dallas and want to stay.
Yeah.
And DJ Reader. You need a run stopper. And he's been good for the Lions.
Yeah.
Could have afforded all three of those guys and still had money to spend and still had money left over. They're asking him that, and he goes, "Don't ask me why." Starts bringing up like 1970 and when he purchased the team. And Jerry Jones again is an owner that needs to disappear.
Yes.
And he was saying, don't tell me I should have gotten guys this offseason. Well, he messed it up from the beginning. And this is just Jerry Jones again. Like, hey, when you're challenged, what does he do? I'll fire you because I have more money than you. All right, nice. So what's the answer? If you're going to fire me, at least give me an answer.
That's right.
No accountability for Jerry. And no one's going to hold him accountable there because he's what is he, like the judge, the sheriff,
judge,
the police officer,
jury, and executioner.
That's it. Thank you.
You're right about he needs to go sit his old ass down somewhere. Jerry has lost his marbles years ago. Years ago. I mean, these quotes like this and this stuff has been happening for years. I think the son is it Steven? I think the son is ready. Yeah. To take and I think he has been, by the way, to take the mantle, take the ball and run with it. And a lot of the decisions that it's known, like he gets credit for, Steven I'm talking about, the decisions that he gets credit for making, football decisions, have worked. I think what's happening here is a battle between father and son. I do, behind the scenes. I'm not in Dallas. I don't care about the Cowboys. Yeah. I love watching them in pain, okay? Let me get that out of the way.
Same.
But my guess is, from the outside looking in, this is a son who wants power and who wants to run this and wants to tell his dad, go relax, I got this. Just chill out. Do the press junket where you just go shake hands and kiss babies and you're Jerod and let me run the business here. Yeah. And Jerod, the dad, is the dad, and he's going to do it when he wants to do it. God bless him. No one can make him. Who's going to check Jerry Jones? So I think the son's the only one who can, but he doesn't want to do that because that's his dad, and you don't want to mess up your soup sandwich, okay? You start getting too spicy mouth to dad, and all of a sudden, the money ain't the same or the power, or he fires you, which I wouldn't put against, Jerry Jones doing either, by the way. So, look, it's a tight spot. You almost have to play it out, man. You just got to let Jerry be Jerry. You mentioned a lot of the moves they didn't make. I actually thought giving Dak another astronomical contract.
That's the market.
Was a mistake. The market? Bro, you're the king of this. You say all the time, reset the damn market. Go draft you one of these kids who can ball. And these quarterbacks are more pro-ready than they've ever been in the history of our game. Yeah. The rules in the league are set up so you don't have quarterback bust anymore as your first-round quarterback pick. Go get a kid. Go get Shadur Sanders. Go get Arch Manning.
Not going to be picking that high. They could have waited on Arch. I don't think
I'm just saying the influx of young quarterbacks is really Michael Penix, and I don't give a damn.
Drew Aller. Nussmeier from LSU, an upcoming draft.
Go get some young kid, surround him with the appropriate weapons of CeeDee Lamb and Michael Parsons and all that. And then, cook with him and figure it out. Or go get a Kirk Cousins in the offseason. Whatevs. But Dak had already shown you he ain't worth the money, and they gave it to him again, and now look at the return on the investment. How's zero sound?
I mean, him and CeeDee Lamb are the only things keeping this team, and Jalen Tolbert, the only thing keeping the Cowboys in games. Defense can't stop anybody.
What game?
In the games they played.
Did you watch last week?
Yeah, it was bad against the Lions.
Defense didn't keep them in nothing.
Defense can't stop anyone. The offensive line can't block. Again, a guy in a rookie tackle, the other tackle's not playing well. There's so many things going wrong, and the timing's awful for the Cowboys. It's all mounting its head, and it comes after. He let Dak wait, and waited to pay Dak and overpaid. Yeah. Waited to play CeeDee Lamb and overpaid. That's where I give Jerry Jones the most crap. Stop waiting. You wouldn't have to give them all this guaranteed money. You wouldn't have to give them these such high contracts. It's not about being paid at the right time. It's being the guy that's last to paid, which is the right time. If you're an owner, just give them the pay now, even though they're demanding for more. What was it? It was like a yearly thing that between him and CD. Yeah. Basically, man in the middle and gave him more guaranteed money. Great job, Jerry. No one else could do that.
Idiot.
And he goes on the radio and threatens his guys.
He should have also fired Mike McCarthy after getting destroyed at home by the Packers in the playoffs. Mike McCarthy should have been gone. He should have a new coach.
He didn't want to pay Mike McCarthy to walk. That's why.
That's terrible.
And he's a free agent after this. He's basically saying, terrible. Don't have me on this radio show and ask me these questions. Because I tell you what, I have all your asses out of here in 2 seconds. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Foxboro Rush. Make sure to catch new episodes dropping every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. More Jerry Jones impersonations coming as well. It never stops. Wherever you get your podcasts, please like, subscribe, download, rate, and review Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime. Go subscribe on the Nesson YouTube channel as well. You can catch us everywhere, especially on Nesson YouTube. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and we'll bring it on to Foxboro Rush, the combo. He's Double T, I'm GB. We'll see you guys next time.
You have the old man, like the growl, like the nah.
You watch what you're saying over there. Now I'm getting angry, Jerry. See you guys.